Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Virtual Racers Club. We're here for round 7 of the GTMC Season 5. And what a championship we're having so far with the Nissans and the Porsches. It's been immense. We're here for round 7 at St. Croix B. And I'll give you a quick rundown. The GTMC is a VRC's multi-class championship. These guys choose a manufacturer, and first they race in the sprints in the Group 4 of said chosen manufacturer, and then they go on to the Group 3 cars and race for a 40-minute endurance race. And it's quite a corker. The championship so far, after 6 rounds, is Homesick Alien still sitting aloft the top on 267 points. Very closely behind, though, is Liam Anfield in second on 266 points. In third, we have Skyjacker on 259 points. Shuren in fourth on 243 points. Uncle B Darren in fifth on 184 points. And Jokus in sixth on 130 points. Turtle Racing is seventh on 127 points. In eighth is Pat on 120 points. Ranger is ninth on 112 points, with Jim in 10th on 109 points. Did I say Ranger was on 110? He's on 112, sorry. In 9th is Ranger on 112 points. Then in 10th is Jim on 109 points. Shadow Rider is 11th on 100 points, with Electric in 12th on 87 points. 13th is Bunny on 54 points, with Simon in 14th on 53 points. Rido is 15th on 45 points. Alphanut 16th on 33 points. GT Racer in 17th on 19 points. And Mason is 18th on 7 points. Well, that's the Drivers' Championship. Let's have a quicker look at the manufacturers. And it's the lowest manufacturer car that scores if they're in teams of 2. And at the top, we have a Nissan on 251 points. In second, Porsche on 228 points. Subaru are third on 184 points, with BMW fourth on 138 points. Aston Martin are fifth on 134 points, with Jaguar in sixth on 123 points. Mercedes seventh on 112 points. Ferrari in eighth on 77 points. McLaren are ninth on 34 points. Toyota 10th on 33 points, and Mitsubishi are 11th on 7 points. Well, they're the tables, and let's have a look. These guys have qualified for 10 minutes, and let's see how they sit on the grid. In the chat, we have a Binko saying, morning thingy, hope you're well. I'm good, man, I'm good. You're up late or early, or one or the two. Another night shift fellow in the chat. So anyway, let's have a look at the grid after qualifying in the Group 4 cars on the super soft tyres. There is Liam Anfield in his Porsche on pole position. Super job there. Then in second place, we have Shuren in his Aston Martin, looking rather spliffing. Then in third, the championship leader in his Nissan Monster is Homesick Alien. In fourth, we have Uncle B Darren in his pink Subaru. In fifth, we have Pat. Let's have a look at his bonnet. We have Pat in his BMW. Sixth, we have Jim, car 66, in sixth in his Ferrari, and it's devil red. We have a Jokus in seventh in his Jaguar. In eighth, we have Electric in the second Ferrari. And in ninth, we have Rido in his Red Bull McLaren. So they are our riders. They are the positions. And let's get on with this sprint race without further ado. So we'll see him sat on the grid. There's Liam in his pole position. And I'll just click OK, and we will be away. Waiting for the lights here at St. Croix B for them to do their launch and get away. It's a long hold for the lights, and it's a go, go, go here for round 7 of the GTMC, and the Porsche makes a great getaway with Shiren, Uncle B and the Nissan, nothing between them as they go into the first corner, but it's Uncle B that enters it first, just to pips Shiren, but Shiren's coming back at the Subaru, and the Subaru, they're under attack from Pat. The BMWs have been absolutely lightning fast off the lines this season, and Pat now up into 3rd place. Cracking start from Pat, but he's gone out wide, he's had a nudge with the barrier, but he's back on track, still in 3rd. Super stuff, but Homesick Alien and Uncle B are there, and there is Homesick Alien going up to 3rd now, but Pat's coming back at him, and it's tight stuff there between the two of them, and Pat's got that inside line going into this corner, but Homesick Alien manages to stick it around the outside over the bridge, and Homesick Alien gets that 3rd place. Liam Anfield meanwhile is just ahead of the Aston Martin of Shiren, with Homesick Alien in 3rd, Pat in 4th, and Uncle B's dropped back even further because Joker's now in his Jaguar is 6th, Jim 5th, Jim is up to 6th, and Uncle B has dropped down to 7th, battling it out with Electric in his Ferrari, and Rido is in 9th place. But Liam Anfield so far controlling the race quite nicely. They're all on super softs on these Group 4 cars for this sprint race. Shiren and these two have pulled away from the pack, battling it out between the two of them. And Liam Anfield needs maximum points if he wants to overhaul Homesick Alien in the championship. Homesick Alien maintaining that 3rd place ahead of Pat, but Pat looks like he means business here, and he's edging closer to the Nissan, but he's got Jokers pushing him along behind in the Jaguar. Jim in 6th, but Jim's getting overtaken by Uncle B. Uncle B moves up to 6th place in the Subaru. And Uncle B on his way now up into 6th place ahead of Jim in 7th. Electric in 8th, battling it out with Rido. These two are very close together on the track, and Jim just covering off Rido for the time being. There we still see Liam Anfield is leading the way from Shiren as they cross the line to complete the first lap and go into the second lap. Shiren in 2nd, Homesick Alien on 3rd, and he's just pulled away from the Beamer slightly. It's still very close, and Uncle B right there behind the Jaguar, and oh no, Pat's had an off again. Pat's had a little run wide in the BMW, and that gives Jokers a run on the Beamer as we're sat on board with Uncle B Darren in his Subaru, but Pat maintains that 4th place for now, and that gives Homesick Alien a bit of breathing space, but the Jaguar is up alongside now of the Pat, the BMW, and Joker's up into 4th place in the Jag, but Pat's got that inside line. Can he just whip it up the inside of the Jaguar? No, he cannot. And now Joker's up into 4th in the Jag, with Pat in 5th, Uncle B very close behind in his Subaru, and Jim not too far behind them either. But Liam Anfield still leading the way from Shiren. These two very close together on track, and Liam's had a little knock with the barrier, giving Shiren the opportunity to take a run at Liam, but Liam's got that inside line as they come down to the right-hander, but Shiren now takes the lead. Shiren in his Aston Martin has taken the lead from the Porsche. Homesick Alien all on his own, having a little rub with the barrier as well. In 3rd place, Jokers in 4th, trying to fend off Pat in his BMW in 5th, Jim in 6th. Now he's got himself ahead of Uncle B, and Uncle B just looking for a way past the Ferrari, and it's all very tight mid-pack here from Jokers, and Liam Anfield's retaken the lead. Liam Anfield retaking the lead from Shiren. He's got that inside line now, and he's going through in his Porsche. The Aston and the Porsche, though, side by side all the way around. Shiren back in the lead again. It's absolutely cracking stuff up the front here from these two excellent drivers. The Russian sensation versus Liam Anfield. Liam Anfield in the Porsche. And like I said, he wants maximum points here to pull away from Homesick Alien in the championship. Jokers and Pat side by side going around the corner. Jokers having a knock with the wall. Is that going to give Pat the opportunity to move ahead? And it does. So Pat up into fourth. Jim having a look. Jokers tried to close the door, but it was too late. Jim's already there. And oh my word, these three are very tight together at the moment, and Jokers loses out altogether. He's down into sixth now, with Jim moving up into fifth place and Pat in fourth. He's pulled a march on those guys a little bit. Couple of car lengths ahead, with Jim now in fifth, Jokers in sixth, Uncle B is in seventh, Electric in eighth, still battling it out with Rito. Rito going for a late move up the inside, but it's just not on. So Electric maintains that eighth ahead of Rito. Shiren is leading the race at the moment, still ahead of Liam Anfield as they cross the bridge. And this is some absolutely cracking racing as we are coming up to the 6-minute mark in the race. A 15-minute sprint race this is in the Group 4 cars, and Shiren and Liam Anfield are battling this one out all the way to the flag, it seems. Homesick Alien all on his own, having a bit of a lonely race in that Nissan. Pat is back ahead of Jim. Jim down into fifth with Uncle B in sixth. Jokers dropping down to seventh place. And Pat there maintaining that fourth ahead of the Ferrari in fifth. But Uncle B looks eager to get by in his Subaru. He's pulling alongside the Ferrari right now as they come along the straight, a little kink to the right. But the Ferrari stays firmly ahead of the Subaru. Binko in the chat saying night shift worker, mate. Won't be in bed for several hours yet. Same here. So Liam Anfield's retaken the lead from Shiren. They're side by side. Shiren's coming back. Shiren's just edged it ahead of Liam. These two are having an absolute battle royale. And Liam there again, back in the lead, with Shiren in second spot. Shiren's got the fastest lap so far on that second lap. Homesick Alien all on his own. Then we've got the battle between Pat, Jim and Uncle B, Darren back there for fourth, fifth and sixth. Very tight indeed. And Liam Anfield now looking like he's trying to run away from Shiren. Shiren though keeping a close eye of that Porsche ahead of him. And Homesick Alien in third, Pat fourth. It's very tight there between the Ferrari and the BMW, and the Scooby is sat there waiting to pick up the pieces. Sat on board with Uncle B, Darren, as he just yanks that car to the left to try and pull it through that corner. He is wrestling his Subaru around here at St. Croix B. Heading down the hill, turning to the right, flipping it to the left, and you can see Pat trying to defend from the Ferrari up the hill a little bit to the right over the bridge. Liam Anfield still leading from Shiren with Homesick Alien in third place, and Uncle B keeping close eye on that Ferrari. Jokers in seventh behind us, and it does look like they're slightly catching up the Nissan. Oh, and there Uncle B grabbing a load of space up between him and the Ferrari through that left-hand corner coming off of the bridge. And you can see the Subaru handling a lot better than the Ferrari. He's gone for the move. Ferrari has a little tap of the wall, but that's a nothing for the Scooby. He's up and into fifth place. Awesome stuff there. So Liam Anfield, oh, he's pulled out a few car lengths on Shiren, with Shiren in second, Homesick Alien. He's all on his own there in third place. Pat holding on to that fourth ahead of Uncle B. Can UB do anything about Pat? He's closing the gap. He does seem to be pulling in. Pat doing a 220.3 his last time around. UB doing a 219.8. And it's very tight between the two of them as they come through the chicane around the left-hander. And that Subaru looks rather planted there, chasing down the BMW. Jim in sixth, with Jokus in 7th, Electric in 8th, and he can't shake off Rido. Rido's still thereabouts with Electric. And oh, it looks like Sharen's closed back up the gap. He's got another fastest lap, and Liam's off. Liam's had a massive off. Liam's had a huge off there, and Sharen now retakes the lead, and that, with just coming up to 10 minutes of a racing, 5 minutes left, you must say that's got to be a Liam Anfield done and dusted in this race. The win cannot be on the cards for him now, surely, with Homesick Alien fighting his Nissan today around in 3rd place. We've got Pat holding on to that 4th ahead of Uncle B in 5th, with Jim closing up now on the Subaru in his Ferrari. It just looks like there's some parts of the track the Ferrari's better than the Scooby, because he does seem to close it up, and Jokus is closing it up as well between the 3 of them. So tight racing along this. I think the Ferrari must be faster in a straighter line, surely, than the Scooby, and he does. He gets right up behind Uncle B. And Uncle B defending that inside line as Jim locks up his brakes, but he makes the corner. And it's tight stuff there between those two racing, with Sharen leading the way. And Liam Anfield chasing him down after his small off. Homesick Alien a little further back in 3rd place. Pat in 4th. And Uncle B just ahead of Jim. It's all very tight stuff there between these two, the Scooby and the Ferrari. They're pulling back away from Jokus in his Jaguar. Electric, he seems to have pulled away a bit from Rido. Rido's dropped back a little bit on that lap. Must have made a mistake, because they did exactly the same, pretty similar lap times last time around. But Electric, car 95, coming around the corner in 8th place. And Sharen leads the way, crosses the line to start lap 6. And he's got a nice bit of breathing space before Liam Anfield catches him up. Liam Anfield losing a couple of seconds with that off. You can see Homesick Alien looming large. If Liam has another off, he's going to be getting the Nissan right in his rear view mirrors. Pat still in that 4th, but Jim and UB battling it out, absolutely tooth and nail out there between the Ferrari. Oh, Jokus has had a big off. Jokus has had a huge off there. Can Electric close the gap? He's a little too far back, and Jokus gets away with it. But UB and Jim battling it out. That is the closest battle on track between these two. We're at 12.5 minutes. So only 2.5 minutes left, and that is the next lap, probably. And this race will be done. So this is the penultimate lap, with Sharen pulling away from Liam Anfield. Liam Anfield trying to close the gap, but it means he's going to have to push a little bit. And that Porsche doesn't look like it likes to be pushed. Homesick Alien just coming off of the bridge, chasing them down. Pat in 4th, looking absolutely cracking there in the BMW. Uncle B is ahead of the Ferrari, but the Ferrari's looking for a way by. Jim in close quarters to the Scooby. He's pulling up alongside, and they're side by side coming along the straight. Jim's going to have that inside line on the kink, and he does. He gets ahead. So Jim back ahead in 5th place, UB down in 6th, but he's keeping a very close eye of that Ferrari. And the Scooby is so much more planted in the corners than the Ferrari. The Ferrari can be quite skittish. So Jim has got to use all his skills to try and stay ahead of the Subaru. And we're down to our last minute of racing here as Sharen reaches the finish line to start his final lap ahead of Liam Anfield. And it does look like Liam's got a little bit closer. Yes, Sharen did a 2:20 his last time around. Liam doing a 2:19.1. So Liam is pulling out all the stops to try and catch up the Russian sensation. and they're getting ever closer. Homesick Alien drifting further away from the two of them. Pat in fourth, all on his own, with that battle between Jim and UB, making them slow down a little bit. They did a 21.6 for UB last time around. Jim doing a 2:21.2. Pat managing a 2:20.6. So you can see what the racing is costing them. Jocus in 7th place, with Electric in 8th and Rido in 9th in that very nice looking McLaren. But Shiren coming over the bridge, and Liam Anfield has really caught him up. Liam Anfield very much on the back of the Aston Martin, and the Aston Martin might be in trouble. The time has run out now as they make their way around for this, the final lap of this 15-minute sprint here at St. Croix B for round 7 of the GTMC. And Shiren just staying ahead of the Porsche, but the Porsche looking like it's in a better, its tyres are definitely in a better, well, the tyres are pretty much similar actually, as they battle it out. Coming down the straight, Liam Anfield trying to get the slipstream through the kink. And Liam Anfield looking for anything he can on the Aston Martin. He's looking around the outside, the Aston Martin defending on the apex. But it looks like Liam Anfield's managed the impossible. He's up alongside. He's got a nose just in front of Shiren, but Shiren's got a nose back again. And they're side by side coming up to the final part of the course. And Liam Anfield really trying to muscle his way through, but Shiren's got that inside line now. But Liam Anfield around the outside. It looks like he's going to get it. Oh my word. He's on the inside now as they come towards the line. And Liam Anfield does the impossible. Oh my word. And Liam Anfield takes the win in the sprint race. He is the sprint race specialist. He's won a fair few of those this season. Shiren in second. Homesick Alien gets that final podium position. Take a boo, my son. Pat looks solid for a 4th place. Cracking job from Pat, with Jim getting 5th, Uncle B getting 6th. Joker's coming for that 7th. Super. And Rido already crossing the line to finish in 9th, and Electric getting 8th spot. So cracking stuff there. Oh my, not with that shot. So Liam Anfield from nowhere, from miles back, manages to drag back his Porsche to overtake Shiren in that absolutely climatic final lap. Poor Shiren must be wondering what happened there. Homesick Alien finishing in 3rd, Pat in 4th, Jim getting 5th for Ferrari, a great position for him. Uncle B Darren in 6th for the Subaru. He's used to being higher, I'm pretty sure. Jokers getting a cracking 7th, with Electric coming across the line in 8th, and Rido already finishing in 9th spot. So we'll let Electric cross the line as we load up the next race, the 40-minute race in the Group 3 cars. As that loads, I can tell you, I believe the randomator picked number 7, so from them finishing results, the grid will be reversed from 7th place, which, what was that, Jocus? I believe that was a Jocus, so Rido and Electric stay in the same spot, 8th and 9th, and the grid is reversed from Jokers, so it'll be Jokers, then Uncle B, and then Jim in 3rd, Pat 4th, Homesick Alien 5th, Shiren 6th, and Liam Anfield starting in 7th place. We're going to have a 40-minute race with a rolling start here. As we look at, we're meant to be looking at Jokers, but we're looking at the back of the Scooby. And they're allowed to use Racing Super Soft, Racing Soft, and Racing Medium tyres for this 40-minute race. But they must use at least 2 compounds. So Jokers there leads them away in his Jaguar. Uncle B in 2nd, Jim there starting in 3rd, and they've crossed the line, and it's a go, go, go for this 40-minute race here. for the GTMC round 7 at St. Croix, and the Jaguar leads them out, and he is doing a super job through the first corner. Uncle B in his Subaru in second place. He's had a lot of tyre wear issues in that Group 3 Subaru. Jim there ready to pounce in his Ferrari. Pat in the BMW in fourth. Homesick Alien in fifth. We should be looking at the tyres, shouldn't we? So Joker starts on the racing softs. Super softs for Uncle B, super softs for Jim, softs for Pat. Homesick Alien starting on the softs. Sharon starting on the softs. Liam Anfield has started on the softs. Rido has got himself ahead of Electric already on those super softs, with Electric on the softs. Joker still leading though over Uncle B, coming on strong against the Jaguar in his Subaru, his Scooby-Doo. And Jim is in third with Pat fourth place, scraping at the barrier, and it looks like Liam Anfield has got himself ahead of Sharon already, and he's ready to attack the Nissan, the championship leader of Homesick Alien, but there's only a point between the two of them. So Liam Anfield will be wanting to get ahead of Homesick Alien. He's right up his Jaxie as Homesick Alien in his Nissan tries to protect his line, but Liam just drives around the outside of him. Awesome stuff as the Nissan steps out a little bit. Sharon in his Aston Martin are very close to the Alien. Jim's got the lead. Jokers has dropped down. Oh, sorry, I'll have to nip that back a little bit, I think. God, quite a bit. So there is Jokers, Uncle B. Oh, and Jokers knocked onto the wall. Uncle B took the lead. Jim got by as well. And how did Jim? And Jim gets a good slipstream on Uncle B as they come down the straight. And there he goes. He just whips it up the inside of the Subaru. And Jim in the lead in the Ferrari. Super stuff. No, Uncle B coming back at him. But no, Jim has got it. So Jim takes the lead of this race on the first lap, as Jokers knocks the wall, and Uncle B just cannot keep that Ferrari behind him. The speed of the Ferrari, unbelievable. With Jokers there in third place. Pat still maintaining fourth, keeping a close eye on them. Liam Anfield in fifth, ahead of Homesick Alien in sixth. Sharon in seventh. Rido still ahead of Electric in eighth. And Electric in ninth. So Jim crosses the line. We've got a Ferrari at the front, a Ferrari at the back. We're bookending this a race with two Ferraris, and Jim doing a super job keeping the Subaru behind him. Jokers looks like he's ready to attack the Subaru. Subaru lurched forward a little bit there. I don't know if there was a bit of a gear issue for Jokers as he gets around that corner. The Jaguar looks heavy in the corners, looks like a struggle to get around as the Subaru draws ever closer to Jim. Jim at the moment doing an absolutely super job out there in the front. Uncle B in second, Jokers in third, Pat in fourth. Then we have Liam Anfield ahead of Homesick Alien, and Homesick Alien, if he wants to keep hold of that championship lead, he's going to have to find a way to get back ahead of the Porsche. But the Nissan just not looking like it's working well here at St. Croix, because Sharon is trying to go ahead of the Alien. They're side by side going through quite a tight corner. They both give racing room. Absolute total respect given between the two drivers. But Sharon now up into sixth, and Homesick Alien down into seventh place. Homesick Alien sitting right on the back of that. And Electric has got himself ahead of Rido. These two having a bombastic race at the back of the pack. In the Ferrari and the McLaren. Sorry, I took a big gulp of my coffee. And Rido going for the move up the inside of Electric, and he makes it stick. And Rido is back up into 8th place with Electric down into 9th. My word, them two are having a humdinger. Jim, though, meanwhile, has pulled away from Uncle B a little bit. Uncle B on those, well, they're both on the super softs, remember? Jim and Uncle B. starting on the super soft compound. Pat on the softs, and it looks like Liam has caught up Pat. So Liam is a man possessed today, and he wants a win, a second win. He wants to go for the double, a win. Shiren in 5th place with Homesick Alien in 6th. And Joker 7th. Rido ahead of Electric in 8th. And Electric in 9th. So there goes Jim pulling away even further. And we've seen Jim having some great races in the Group 3s. He's had some unfortunate luck at Brands Hatch. Absolutely solid drive earlier in the season. And I think last week he had a good race as well. Uncle B, though, going across the line ahead of Pat. Pat, who's dropped? Oh, Jokers. Jokers has dropped down into 7th place. Homesick Alien, are we pleased? That's more points for him. But Jokers in the Jaguar has lost a few positions there, putting Pat into a podium position, and he's keeping up with UB. He's got the Porsche behind him, pushing him. 2 German manufacturers breathing heavily on each other, trying to catch up the Japanese manufacturer of Subaru, whilst the Ferrari, the Italian Stallion, just disappears into the distance. Super job from Jim so far, doing a cracking job. He had the fastest lap on lap 2, and he's doing everything correct at the moment in his Ferrari. Uncle B in 2nd, Pat 3rd, and Liam Anfield in 4th. And Liam, if he doesn't get past the Beamer anytime soon, he's going to find that Aston Martin and the Nissan catching up with him, although the Aston Martin has pulled away. Oh, the Aston Martin off the road a little bit there, giving Homesick Alien the opportunity to draw ever closer to Shiren. And Jokers, there's a big gap between him and the Alien. Electric is ahead of Rido. Oh, Rido must have had made a mistake, because Electric has got quite a gap between him and the McLaren. Jim, meanwhile, pulling away from Uncle B. Uncle B has got a nice little gap from the Beamer. He's doing an absolutely doing a cracking job keeping Liam Anfield behind him. And Liam Anfield is a formidable driver. And once he's got the bit between his teeth, he is one hard guy to keep behind. Shiren in 5th with Homesick Alien in 6th. Quite close now, these guys. From 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th, all tightly together. And Uncle B's not that much further ahead of Pat. Uncle B's tyre wear not looking too bad. Jim getting another fastest lap on lap 3. He's just reeling off those fastest laps every lap around, and it really looks like this track suits the Ferrari and himself. Car 66 disappearing into the distance. Uncle B there in 2nd, so Pat in 3rd. Liam Anfield in 4th, Shiren in 5th, Homesick Alien. And it looks to me Homesick Alien's fuel is a little better than some of the guys ahead of him. Jim's on half a tank of fuel. Uncle B just under half a tank of fuel. The BMW of Pat is on half a tank. Liam just over half a tank. Shiren just under half a tank of fuel. Homesick Alien, same as Liam Anfield's. Jokers, he's used up a bit of fuel back there. Electric, just under half a tank. And Rido. And we're about just coming up to 9 minutes in this race. And I think it's going to be a tough one for some of these guys if they want to do a one-stop, because they're getting through their fuel rather rapidly. Jim, meanwhile, not a great lap that last one. He reeled off 2 2:08s, and his last one was 3 seconds slower at 2:11. Uncle B, though, he's been caught up by Pat. Pat all over the Subaru. Uncle B, he's got his hands full now, full of Pat, with Liam Anfield right behind Pat. Shiren closing up that gap as well, And oh, we've got ourselves a little race here, haven't we, eh? Between second, third, fourth and fifth, and Homesick Alien not too far behind them also. So Uncle B, car 96, doing all he can to keep car 4 behind him. And Sharen's back on it again, trying to get past Liam, and he does, in a straight line. And Liam, he didn't seem to defend that too much, so maybe he wants Sharen to go at the Beamer. He's been behind the BMW for a while now, the Porsche, struggling with it, so he's obviously letting Sharen have a little bite at that Porsche for a while. We'll get on board with, say, Homesick Alien to look at the battle ahead between second, third, fourth and fifth. You can just about see Jim off in the distance, and it looks like Sharen has got himself up alongside the BMW in the inside of the corner. Oh, but Sharen lost the back end slightly. And he's down. He's good catch though. He hasn't lost too much ground, only one position. Well, 2, I suppose, because he was ahead of Liam. And Homesick Alien up into 5th place now. Sharen 6th. Joker's down in 7th, but he's quite far back from that battle. Electric in 8th. And Arido trying to catch Electric back up. Electric did a 213. He's been doing 213 sideways going around that corner. Unbelievable. So Electric doing 213s with Arido managing a 211 his last lap around. So he might still catch up Electric, especially as Electric's almost sideways in every corner. And Joker's, he's got a thirsty car. He's into the pits already. Jim, meanwhile, is out there in the lead ahead of Uncle B, and Pat's having a look at the Subaru. Pat is eager to get past that Subaru before Liam Anfield catches him back up, and Homesick Alien is right on the tail of Liam Anfield, the 2 championship leaders, battling it out there for 4th and 5th at the moment. Absolutely corking stuff. We're 11, just coming up to 12 minutes in this race. It's a 40-minute race. Electric now up into 7th with Jokers and making that pit stop. He's gone to the super soft tyres, filled his Jaguar right up, and Jim leading the way. A 209 last time from him. And Uncle B, Subaru, Group 3 Subaru, seems quite thirsty. He's going to have to be into the pits at the end of this lap. His fuel is flashing. Pat will move up into 2nd, but Liam Anfield closing up on the BMW. It's all very tight out there. Homesick Alien doing really well with his fuel still, as is Liam Anfield. Pat down to a 1/4 of a tank now, as Uncle B is concerned with his fuel. He's only got a short distance to go before he can get to that pit stop. Jim out there, he probably has got another lap also in that fuel tank, so he might just carry on around, but definitely Uncle B will be into the pits like Jokus was. I think it was Liam Anfield I saw in the distance whacking the barrier, so Homesick Alien closing the gap even more, and there goes Uncle B peeling off into the pits to change his tyres and top up his fuel. Jim, meanwhile, still enough fuel to carry on. Pat is up into 2nd place now. Pat must be starting to feel a bit giddy. It's a lot of pressure driving around in 2nd spot in his BMW. Liam Anfield in 3rd, keeping close eye on that BMW. Pat doing a 210.4 last time around, and Liam doing a 210.1. Homesick Alien, we've got a couple more in the pits. Electric and Rido all deciding to pit. How does that help with Jokers? Jokers on the start straight. Uncle B back out again on a set of soft tyres and a full tank of fuel. Jokers moving up ahead of Electric, who's still into the pits, and Rido still in his box. But Jim's fuel now is flashing, so he'll be in at the end of this lap. Pat in 2nd place, and Pat's fuel's flashing as well, so Liam and Homesick will take over the leads of this race, and they've still got Homesick really looking after his fuel well behind Liam. So Jim will be looking to jump into the pits, as will Pat. How is Shiren? Shiren also needing to take a pit stop. Binko saying Liam and Homesick may be holding behind Pat to save fuel. It does look that way. It could be. I was expecting Liam to blast past the Beamer in that Group 3 Porsche. But you're right. They could be just sort of a fuel saving a little bit behind the BMW. Letting the BMW punch a hole in the air for them. Getting some nice slipstream, do some fuel saving. Jim then, he's coming up towards the last corner. He'll be in. Wow, he's on vapors. Absolute vapors there in that Ferrari. As he comes around and he disappears into the pit lane. And Pat also moving over to the pit lane. And that gives Liam Anfield the lead of the race so far. But Homesick Alien looking to make a move. And Liam protecting that inside line from Homesick Alien. He does, and he does it well. So Homesick Aliens in second with Liam Anfield in first place, the two championship leaders, and battling it out. Shiren also into the pits as well. Can Uncle B get the undercut on those guys? As he comes along the straight, Jim should be out surely. He's just about moving, and has Uncle B done it? No, Jim's back out ahead of Uncle B. Pat in fourth, but it's alongside Uncle B. Uncle B is up into fourth with Jim in third place. Jim going to the super softs again. Obviously, he's going to have to make two stops. We're only 16 minutes into this 40-minute race. So Jim opting for the super softs again. Uncle B going on to the soft tyre this time around. Pat also going on to the softs. Shiren has gone to the super softs. Joker's up into seventh. He's around the outside of the track. And Rido in eighth. He's pulled it back from Electric. Electric had gone quite far ahead of Rido, but Rido back in the fight and ahead of Electric. But these two, nothing can separate Liam Anfield and Homesick Alien, both on a quarter of a tank of fuel. Can they make that fuel last halfway? I'm imagining that's what they want to do, is one stop these cars. We're at 17 minutes. So yeah, I mean, they've got to try and squeeze another lap out of it after this one. Possibly could do it. We saw the Ferrari was just under a quarter of a tank of fuel the last lap around, and he managed to get round, but only just. Jim then on those super softs, he'll be wanting to make a dash and get away from Uncle B. Pat will be not believing his eyes that Uncle B has managed to get the undercut done on him, and Pat's going to have to dig deep to try and overtake that Scooby. Meanwhile, these two battling it out up there in the lead. Liam Anfield on Homesick ahead of Homesick Alien. Homesick Alien's fuel a little bit better, so when they pit, Homesick won't have to put in as much fuel as Liam Anfield's. And it's very close between the two of them. Jim in that third place, poised to get back ahead of those two when they pit, but Jim is probably going to take an extra pit stop. Whereas these pair are trying to just one stop it. Car 77 and car, I think he's 39. Here's Liam Anfield. Car 39 versus car 77. Going around, and I think they're going to get the one stop that they desire. We've got 1.5. Oh no, Homesick Alien straight into the barriers. Oh my word. So Liam Anfield, absolutely a massive grin on his face as he sees the Nissan disappear from his rearview mirror, and Homesick Alien carrying that damage, aero damage at the front there. Jim closing the gap on him, and that's going to have a ripple effect. Uncle B, Pat, all trying to get ahead of the Alien in the pits, and Liam Anfield just scootling away. Unbelievable stuff. That's crazy stuff. Liam Anfield thinking this could be his moment to take over the championship lead. We thought he'd done it last week. We thought he'd done enough. But Homesick Alien survived last week as championship leader. But can he do it this week? Liam already taking the win in the sprint, with Homesick Alien finishing in 3rd place. And now Liam Anfield, oh, he's going, oh no, I thought he was going around again. So Liam Anfield throws it into the pits, and Homesick Alien is decided, a brave move, bold move from the Nissan driver. He's staying out for another lap. My lords. Which means his super soft tyres, if they do opt to go on to the super softs, will be much fresher than Liam's by 1 lap, possibly. Jim up into 2nd place now, Uncle B, Darren, and Pat battling it out. Pat, I said he's going to have to find something special to get past the Subaru, and it looks like this is something special here. The BMW late braking into the first corner. Can he stay on the track? And he does. Pat making an absolutely awesome overtaking manoeuvre on UB in his Scooby, and UB, there was nothing he could do about that. That BMW was determined to do the move, and it made the move stick. And UB, all he can do is try and fight back now against Pat. Sharon up now into 5th place. Liam Anfield back onto the track, onto the super softs, tank full. And can he make that car go till the end of the race? Probably. Homesick Alien's fuel flashing. He's on vapours. There's a long way to go before he can get to the pit stop. Sorry for the gulping. I was just trying to down my coffee in between words. But yeah, Homesick Alien, look at that fuel. There's barely anything in that tank at the moment. Jim in 2nd, pulled away from Pat. Pat is just slowly edging away from Uncle B. Sharon trying to close the gap between those two while they battle it out. But he's lost a bit of distance on him. Liam Anfield back out there, trying to smash out those lap times before those guys go into pit. Joker's in 7th spot. Electric in 8th. Oh, Electric back ahead of Rido. Rido dropping back a little bit from Electric. Oh, Rido's had a lap 8 at 2:20. And Homesick Alien does make it to the pits. My lord, on zero, I say, fuel. So Jim retakes the lead, but Jim's going to have to pit again in this race, and he needs to find himself around about 30 seconds on Homesick Alien and Liam Anfield. That's going to be a tough call. Liam Anfield going along and back ahead of Homesick Alien. Jokers is in for his 2nd stop, and Homesick Alien out and on his way. But he's quite far behind Liam Anfield. It's going to be a big job for Homesick Alien to try and close that gap on Liam Anfield. And it's all down to Jim if he can get into the pits and back out before Liam. Yeah, it doesn't look like a big gap on the track, but Jim just getting the fastest lap of the race with a 2:08.729. Jim has to do mission impossible now. He's got to just put some absolutely belters in and try and pull away from those one-stoppers of Liam Anfield and Homesick Alien. Pat, meantime, he can't shake off the Subaru, can he? Half a tank though, the Subaru using up its fuel a little bit more. Sharon getting ever closer as they race each other. Unbelievable stuff. Pat in 2nd, UB in 3rd, and Sharon in 4th spot. Liam Anfield on the fresher tyres, trying to close the gap between the two of them. And Homesick Alien, he's going to have to do something miraculous there if he wants to try and catch up Liam Anfield in this race. Electric ahead of Jokers. Jokers out of the pits ahead of Rido. Rido looks to be ghosted though. Did a 2:17.3 that last time around. Oh, an electric. Electric's going slow for some reason. Electric going slow on this lap for some reason. Let's have a quick look. Oh, he had a massive one with the barrier. We've just flicked it back 10 seconds. And you can see just there. Oh, yes. Oh, dear. So, Electric having a big argument with the barrier here at St. Croix. And he's lucky. Rido is ghosted at the moment. So Electric keeping hold of that 8th place, whilst his teammate Jim leading the way, doing some absolutely corking lap times there, trying to pull out a bit of distance on the one-stoppers. Pat still trying to defend from the Subaru of UB coming up the inside of him, but Pat defends well and stays in 2nd place for now. But Pat looks wide, and UB is going for the move, but no, he doesn't manage to pull it off yet. And Pat's there, and now Shiren is up in the midst of it all. Shiren's got himself ahead of UB, and he's in a solid 3rd, chasing down that BMW. The BMW looking absolutely solid today here at St. Croix. And Liam Anfield not far behind them to say they've all got to come into the pits. But Jim has pulled away. He's doing those lap times he needs to do. Liam, he's just got himself into the 209s. And Jim has been doing some regular 209s and a 208s for some laps now. We're 25 minutes, nearly 26 minutes into this race. Homesick Alien, some distance behind Liam Anfield. It's going to take a lot, although Liam Anfield might get stuck behind the battle. Oh, Shiren's up into 2nd. Sorry, we'll have a quick look back at Shiren on how he got past Pat. We've gone back around about 30 seconds there, I believe. And there we see Pat as they cross the bridge. Shiren in the slipstream, coming out and going alongside the Beamer. And Shiren, oh, lovely flip-flop from Shiren. He tried to go around the outside, couldn't make it work, and slipped it underneath Pat. And Pat is now down in 3rd, still battling his nemesis, UB, in the pink Scooby. Liam Anfield catching these guys up. They're all going to have to pit again, where he doesn't, on his one-stop strategy. Homesick Alien further back, and he'll be hoping Liam gets snagged up behind the battle of Shiren, Pat and Uncle B. Uncle B's fuel already flashing. 26 minutes in this race. Will a fuel tank last him? Pat there, he's got loads of fuel still on board, and so has Shiren. So that Scooby is a very mighty thirsty car. And then Liam Anfield then closing the gap between those guys. Meanwhile, Jim, another 209.8 out there, doing all he can do to pull away from the one-stoppers. Uncle B peels off into the pits, and Liam Anfield is up into 4th place now. He can see that battle between Shiren and Pat just ahead of him for 2nd and 3rd. Homesick Alien gets by Uncle B. Can Jokus? He's a little too far back. I think Uncle B is going to be rejoining the track ahead of Jokas. He's still topping up with fuel. And Jokus there. The two very thirsty cars, the Jaguar and the Subaru, are sitting in 6th and 7th. Oh, Jokus is back into the pits. That's very odd. Very odd there from Jokus. Doesn't look like he needs that pit stop, but he's coming in anyway. Maybe just to give it a top up to get to the end of this race. Interesting. So Jim leading the way. He's got about a quarter of a tank of fuel on board. He's been lovely and consistent in those 209s. It's going to be a big ask, though. A big ask. Oh, and Liam's going up against the BMW. He's up the inside. Oh, dear, they're both on the barriers. So that's costing him time, but Liam does get ahead of Pat. And Liam doing 209s also, so he's not letting Shiren get too far away. Electric's been into the pits. He's put some mediums on. So Electric pit in and back out again. Rido is in the pits. I think Rido doesn't... Oh yeah, he is topping up with fuel. So he's back out again on his super softs. So Jim, meanwhile, going for another lap. But he's not pulled enough out on Liam Anfield, I don't think. Oh, Pat's back ahead of Liam Anfield. These two, the battle of the German manufacturers, raging on. Shiren's gone into the pits. Shiren's gone in. So that's one position for Homesick Alien and Liam Anfield as they're on their one-stop strategies. Liam down to half a tank of fuel with only 11 minutes left of racing. Homesick Alien has got loads of fuel on. So Jim, he's going to have to pit at the end of this lap, I reckon. And Liam Anfield back ahead of Pat again. But Pat might have done just enough to help Jim out there, out the front. Costing Liam a couple of seconds on that lap whilst they battled it out. Pat coming into the pits at the end of this lap also. And Jim's fuel is now flashing. But Liam Anfield isn't that far behind him. He's not 30 seconds behind him for sure. So Jim will lose the lead of this race to the Porsche. I don't know, he might be far enough ahead of Homesick Alien though. Oh, it's a tough call. It's going to be tight between the two. Pat will be into the pits, as will Jim, and he's used that wall again. He's just going to slow down a little bit for that corner. So Jim, meanwhile, come on Jim. Everyone's rooting for the Ferrari. I'd like to see the Ferrari win before the season's out. It's came close a couple of times. It's had some really spectacular races in that Group 3 Ferrari. And makes his way up to the final corner. He'll peel off into the pits for the final time. And we've got just 9 minutes left of racing. Liam Anfield's coming up to the final corner, and he will take over the lead of this race as he makes his way around looking for the second win. Pat also peeling off into the pits, so Homesick Alien moving up into second. He can see the Porsche. It's not major miles away. If Liam's, I don't know if Liam's going to have enough fuel for the end of this race. You would think so. You would think that's enough fuel to get to the end. With Homesick Alien though, has got loads on. Although Jim's put 3/4 of a tank in. But the Ferrari might be a little thirstier. Shiren up into fourth. He's got himself ahead of Uncle B. But Pat and Uncle B are restarting their, like, picking up their race where they left off. Pat just ahead. Pat's topped right up with fuel. I don't know if that was necessary. Uncle B's got 3/4 of a tank on. Shiren's got 3/4 of a tank on. Liam Anfield might not have enough fuel for the end of the race. Everyone else seems to have 3/4 of a tank. Well, Homesick's got half, but Liam's got less than half. And those that have just pitted have put in 3/4 of a tank. So it's a tough call. Pat trying to edge away from Uncle B. Joker's just under 3/4 of a tank. Electric's got 3/4 of a tank, and so has Rido. So it's tight. Liam Anfield might not have enough fuel. He might have to do some major fuel saving from the end of this race. We've only got just over 7 minutes left of racing here at St. Croix for round 7 of the GTMC. And Liam Anfield looking for a double win today, with Homesick Alien chasing him down. He's got a little bit more fuel than Liam, only just though. Well, no, it's nearly 1/4 of a tank of fuel more. Jim. He'll be looking for his first win this season in his Ferrari. And it's just, he's not too far behind the Alien. If these guys do have to do a bit of fuel saving, you can see the Ferrari just coming around that final corner in the distance. Sharon, he's getting purples. He's going for the fastest lap in this race. He's on the super softs. He's coming up towards the line, and he gets it. He gets the fastest lap so far with a 208.368. Jim doing a, well, it was an outlap. Homesick Alien a 209.8, Liam Anfield a 210.8. He does have some time to play with. He could just ease off that accelerator a little bit. It looks like he's got a corner or so on Homesick Alien. 6 minutes left of racing. He's got a quarter of a tank of fuel. Homesick Alien, half a tank of fuel. Jim is just coming up to half a tank of fuel. He's absolutely burning through the fuel, trying to catch up those one stoppers ahead of him. Sharon in fourth, just getting that fastest lap. He's also on half a tank of fuel. Pat's on 3/4 of a tank of fuel. And he's pulled away from Uncle B. Uncle B in sixth in the Subaru. Joker's seventh. We saw him nipping into the pits just for a bit of a top up, I think, to help him get to the end of the race. Electric on those medium tyres. And he's getting a very Larry, very wide Ferrari on his hands there, with Rito there in ninth. Is Liam going to have to do a splash and dash before the end of this race? 5 minutes left on the timer, which means about 2-3 laps to go. I think he might be all right. Homesick Alien doesn't seem to be closing in on him too much at the moment. Homesick Alien a 209.8 last time around. Liam Anfield did a 210. What's he going to post this time around? Another a 211.3. So yeah, I think Liam Anfield is starting to short shift that car and try and save a bit of fuel, and that'll be hopeful for the Nissan driver of Homesick Alien. He might be able to close up behind Liam Anfield's. And the Ferrari a 208.7, so the Ferrari really is pulling out all the stops there to try and catch those guys up. Sharon in fourth, another fastest lap from him, a 208.0. So Sharon trying to close up that gap as well. Interesting stuff indeed. As Liam Anfield makes his way around. His fuel isn't dropping as much as it has been, so he's definitely short. Well, he was redlining it then in third gear, but no, short shifts into fifth as he goes through that corner in second gear. I'm not sure he's short shifting too much. Homesick Alien trying to catch him up, and he does seem to be getting closer and closer to Liam Anfield, as is Jim getting closer to Homesick Alien. This is going to be very tight at the end of this race, where we've got 3 minutes left of racing, so this is probably going to be the penultimate lap. We're going to have one more lap after this. Liam Anfield trying to look after his fuel tank as the Nissan closes the gap on him. But that front left tyre on the Nissan is starting to look rather worn, as is Liam Anfield's though. Similar tyre wear between himself and the Nissan. And Jim there in third. Fresher tyres, faster car, better fuel. It's going to be tight on this final lap. They're coming around that final corner. If they go too quick, they might have to do another lap on top of that. A 2:13 from Liam, so definitely fuel saving. Homesick Alien a 210.7. Jim doing a 209.6. Sharon another 208.1, but he's definitely banging in them lap times. Pat in fifth place. He's dropped UB. left him behind in 6th. Jokas in 7th. Rido has got himself ahead. Rido, he looked like he was nowhere in this race, and he's got himself ahead of Electric. Electric on those medium tyres is really struggling for grip out there, and the McLaren has found a way by and up into 8th place. But the big question is, with only 1.5 minutes left of racing, Liam's fuel just starting to flash. Homesick Alien drawing ever closer to the Porsche. How is this going to end? Will Liam Anfield be celebrating or crying? Because that Nissan is getting closer and closer, and Liam, he just doesn't have the fuel to afford to push. And he can't do another lap after this one. He wants the timer to run out before he gets to the final line. And it was very close. He had about 2 minutes 20 seconds left as he crossed the line. And he's easing off even more now. And Homesick Alien just drives straight past. Yes, Homesick Alien goes ahead of the Porsche. And yes, Liam doesn't have enough fuel. What about Jim? What about Jim then? Liam Anfield, what's he going to do? He wants that time to run out. There's 30 seconds left on the clock. And Homesick Alien takes the lead of the feature race. And Liam Anfield, there's nothing he could do as they come up to the final corner. And Liam really can't afford. There's yellow flags out. And Liam can't afford to do another lap. He really can't afford to do another lap here. And he's got to try and make that fuel last. Jim crosses the line in 3rd, so it doesn't really matter for Liam, even if he does run out of fuel. Sharon in 4th. Oh my word. Pat coming home. Oh, I thought Jim was going to get across the line there, and I thought Liam was going to be in real trouble then. But Jim crosses the line in 3rd. Take a boo, my son. Sharon in 4th. Pat brings her home in 5th place. Uncle B in 6th. With Jokas coming around for 7th place. Electric's already finished in 9th. And Jokas only just making it to the line on that fuel. But he's got a huge distance on Rido. And my word, poor Jim. If he could have got across the line before the timer run out, he definitely would have caught Liam Anfield up for 2nd place. But Jokas crossing the line in 7th. Rido making his way around. But Homesick Alien absolutely trounced it. And Liam Anfield, I think he's just driving till that fuel runs out. And then he's going to have to coast all the way around. Although he's still got fuel on board at the moment. He's doing okay. Rido, not quite there yet. With Homesick Alien. A magnificent win for Homesick Alien. The fuel just working out nicely for the Alien around here. And Rido just coming up towards the final corner to claim 8th place in his McLaren. As he little dab of the barrier. There he goes, crosses the line for 8th. Homesick Alien bringing her around the final corner now for the win. Super stuff from the Alien, and probably keeps hold of that championship lead. Liam Anfield, hang on. Liam Anfield, I don't think he quite ran out of fuel, so it might have been tough for Jim. Binko saying, bet Liam couldn't believe his luck. Haha, solid drive, everyone. A cracking job, Jim. Brilliant podium for Jim. So, yeah, Homesick Alien takes the win. Ahead of Liam. Poor Liam just didn't have the fuel today. That one stop, that one lap earlier, pitting against Homesick Alien, really didn't help him in the end of the race. Jim. If he could have crossed the line just a little bit earlier, he probably could have got that 2nd spot. But still, a fine podium position for the Ferrari. Brilliant stuff from Jim there. Fourth for Shiren in the end. Oh my God, it's awesome. Awful shots of the cars. It's all from behind. Pat finishing in fifth. Oh, there you go. You get a nice shot of the Beamer at the front. So a great solid drive for Pat in fifth. Uncle B finishing in sixth. Jokus in seventh. Rido in eighth. And Electric getting ninth in the end. And Shiren got the fastest lap with a 2:08.099. So they are your results. Homesick Alien finishing in first. Liam Anfield in second. Jim in third. Shiren fourth. Pat fifth. Uncle B Darren in sixth. Jokus in seventh. Rido in eighth. And Electric in ninth. And Shiren got the fastest lap. Doesn't tell you what lap it was. And that, my friends, was round 7 of the GTMC5. Next up, we'll have the Super GTs for the very final. And I think it's still not decided between Racer Brown and Anton Poika. So definitely do not miss the Super GTs at the Green Hell, I believe they're racing at, on Tuesday evening. Then it'll be back again for the GTMC round 8. I might even be able to tell you where they're racing. Give me 1 second. They will be racing around Circuit de Spa for the next GTMC, so do not miss that. And then we have the Super Formulas, Super Formula, and the Megans racing of a Friday evening live, and you don't want to miss them. They've been having some absolutely corking races lately. It's all very tightly close together, and they'll be racing around Lago Maggiore on Friday evening. And then on Sunday evening we've got the VW Bug Enduro Cup racing at Alsace. All right, well, thank you everyone for joining us. Well, thank you for Binko for joining me this evening and keeping me company in the chat. And everyone else, good morning when you wake up and you find that GTMC has arrived on YouTube and you sneakily watch it while you're meant to be working. I was your broadcaster and your commentator, Barry Cade. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Peace and love. Peace and love.